right. This is what we came for. So we're starting it. Oh, I got to pull this up. Hold on. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Enjoy, everybody. Thank you for being here. And it begins in 3, 2, 1.
I think women are becoming a little more frightening to men these days. Maybe because we're freer to do much more. But some men aren't intimidated at all. They enjoy our freedom. Those are the men I like. And you know, those are the men who wear English leather cologne.
I will have a grande iced mocha frappuccino with extra whipped cream.
The morning stream. You didn't say the magic word.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It is the morning stream for Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. 12th. That's a hard one to say if you think about it.
Yeah, there's all those consonants all jammed together like they were just trying to see how many they could fit in the box.
Yeah, I don't know why it never hit me
12th.
before. 12th. It's hard to say. You either have to go way on the periphery and say 12th.
I remember when Shakespeare had a problem with that, saying, "Well, I'm going to write a play, and I'm going to call it The 12th Night."
Like fifth is cool. Fifth, fourth, eighth.
Yeah.
Those are fine. Those are good THs. But nobody says, remember the 12th of November. Right? Nobody.
It's true.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Scott. He's Brian, and we got a show to do. We got guests. We got content. And we do a morning show here. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but that's what this is. So sit back, relax. Oh, I wasn't
reminded. Sure. I had in my notes to-do list.
Yeah.
Do morning show.
Oh,
and
good.
I didn't put any further information.
Sometimes
in
it's
my
all you
to-do
need.
list than that. So
sometimes it's all you need, dude. It's just a slight reminder that something is happening this morning. Speaking of which,
my gushy notepad right here.
Oh yeah, look at that thing. Is that the erasable deal?
It is. This is the one, the Orbit that they kickstarted, the Rocketbook Orbit. Yeah. So like I can use water and go and take stuff off. But here's what's really cool. This is like a little magnetized deal, and they have little different, all sorts of different packs you can put on here.
Yeah.
And then these flip around, and so you've got other, pages and stuff like that. Everybody just saw my to-do list, so.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. It was very low resolution, so someone's gonna have to do some CSI work to.
Plus, my handwriting is nowhere near the quality of Cameron Crowe's, so we're good.
Wait, was that his handwriting every time?
That was his handwriting at the beginning of Almost Famous. Yeah,
he has very nice penmanship.
Very nice penmanship. Like I'd say, it goes in this order: Kim Johnson, Cameron Crowe, and then way down me.
Yeah, the K's, then the C's. Eventually get to the Dunn or the Ibbets down there at the bottom.
Right, that's right, exactly.
My handwriting is atrocious, so
yeah.
Don't come near anything I write with my hand, but my wife can do 4 different hand styles. They all are beautiful, and she can do calligraphy without even thinking about it.
My wife can do 4 different hand styles.
4 different hand styles, baby. Ooh, yeah. So I was reminded, by the way, about morning shows, because I was in the car a little bit this morning, and just had to run a quick errand, and we heard a local morning show, which is a thing I haven't heard in a long time, like a terrestrial in between commercials sort of talky yappy morning show. And it was a nice reminder of why I do this, because they're so bad now. They're so bad. Like they were bad before, but now they're owned by mega corporations that all own like 50 million stations each.
Yeah, there's very few independent radio markets now, and major markets anyway,
right,
where you're not going to hear the same. All right, well, we're going to put our heavy rotation playlist on. You're going to hear 4 songs by Ariana Grande this hour. Tune in.
Right, and so as a result, that stuff just sounded freaking. It was so homogenous and so like manufactured, and it was a nice. I like these occasional reminders that TMS was a good idea, because you know what we're doing. We're creeping up on our 10-year anniversary.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's true. It's just around the corner.
What is the date? I should look.
The 21st? Is that right?
Gosh, dude, we're not ready for
that. I know TMS Mashups Jamie knows, because he has been, like, pacing around waiting for us to hit that mark, because he's got something special for us.
Yeah, he's into it. here it is. January 24th, 2011.
Wow.
Was our very first episode. So we
are.
Oh,
no, it's a Sunday this year, so I guess we're not.
No. I guess we won't celebrate it. What are you going to do?
I guess not. Oh, well, we'll have to wait until 20 years if that day falls on a.
Yeah, why not?
On a weekday.
Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine? I guess I can't imagine, actually.
Yeah, who
I
knows?
can imagine it. It'll be fine. Anyway, so that's the thing. Radio sucks. It's just really bad right now. So sometimes you need your own little, we're in a weird position because we do this every day and we think we're having a good time, but we don't really know, do we? Do we really know? Because it's hard. We're not the eyes. We're not the ears listening to it. We're the ones making it. So we hear each other.
I know we're having a good time. The question isn't do we think we're having a good time, but
we're pretty sure that we are having a good time.
We ourselves are having a good time,
yeah.
And
pretty sure people are, but we, until you get some kind of feedback, you never really know. But then sometimes you go listen to what the rest of the world listens to, like people who still listen to things in their car, and you go, "Oh yeah, that's really bad. That's bad." So we're doing our duty here on the show. Welcome to the Blade Runner episode. It's episode 2049. Right. Yeah. So let's go to irradiated Vegas and find Harrison Ford.
Okay, and drink out of a weird shaped Johnny Walker bottle.
Yeah, there'll be big naked lady statues all over the strip and Vegas. Actually, 2049
which
Vegas.
Which casino do you think will be the first to erect a giant naked lady statue?
Oh man, hold on.
I mean, the Hooters Casino Hotel is gone, so we can't use that one. That seemed like the obvious one. It feels like actually, I take that back. What am I thinking? They've already put one between Park MGM and New York, New York. There's a giant naked lady statue.
Is it big?
It's not as big as the ones in 2049, and it's a hollow statue filled with lights.
Yeah.
But I bet I can find a photo of it. But
I'm finding some 2049 imagery here as well. Oh man, look at that thing. Because there's a hint in there that the not the Bellagio, the pyramid, the Luxor. Jeez, I couldn't think of it. Has been remade. I don't know if you noticed this.
Yes.
It appears to have been rebuilt in this movie. And here, Chad, I'll put it up in the thing and also send it to Brian. But if you look at this thing, there it is. You can see this kind of remade pyramid-looking unit. I don't know if that's really what that's supposed to be, but Future Vegas has a lot of these statue ladies all sticking around, and the whole place has been. We don't know what the exact event was, but pretty much nuked out of living. You can't live there unless you're a freaking replicant, and I like that. That's maybe my favorite motif in the movie is this just like abandoned future Vegas in the middle of this like horrible orange cloud of nastiness.
I think that would be. I think that'd be. I'd be into that as well. I'm wondering, what kinds of things are still working there. Are any of the fountains still going? The
I don't think so.
Fountains? Probably not.
I don't think so. I think the only thing they got going for them that's working is the actual buildings seem pretty untouched inside. Like when Harrison Ford, where he was at, that didn't look like it was a non-functional casino. Like it looked like it was clean, had a decent array of
all that
amenities.
Stuff belongs in a museum.
Yeah, all that stuff belongs in a museum, dude. This image.
So did you see the link I put in our Discord chat? I also put in the chat room, but it's the.
Oh, let me see.
It is the current naked lady statue that's between New York, and.
I'm an idiot. I put these in freaking the Film Sack group.
Park MGM. Oh.
I'm over here telling you about how. Oh yeah, look at that! Look at that Luxor rebuild, and I'm putting the right thing. Oh yeah, look at that! See, that's a step in that direction, dude.
It is. It really is. It's close. Yeah.
Oh, why am I getting so excited about such a dumb thing?
Because help! It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
That's only 40 feet tall. It's nowhere near the size of the ones that Gosling is walking around in.
Yeah, that's true.
49, but still.
Man, I love that. I love that look.
Gotta walk before you can run.
That's right. You can't get there. You go 0 to 60. Come on.
That's right. Baby steps.
Anyway, welcome to the Blade Runner episode.
Just gonna take booby steps.
That's right. Our episode begins with us trying to track down Dave Bautista, who will beat the shit out of us, and we will not be able to take him alive. All right. Moving on. If you've never seen that movie, by the way, you're crazy and go see it.
Why aren't you helping the turtle? Why aren't you flipping it over?
Actually, I should say this. Had it not been for Mad Max Fury Road in 2015, 2049 would be the movie I wouldn't shut up about. That would be the one I would glom onto and never stop talking. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm just saying, people, be glad I picked one and that I stay there mostly, because I would talk incessantly about 2049 if I had the gumption to do it.
Right, it'd be BR49 would be the hashtag we'd frequently see in the show.
Oh yeah, BR49. Yeah, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Better than BM49, if you know what I mean.
Better than WWA4.
Oh boy. Not wrong there either. Okay, we got an email from up north Jeff. Jeff writes in. Jeff Sire writes in all the time. He's from Grafton, Ontario, Canada. And he likes to correct us on some things and, pipe in with some stuff. We know Jeff, nickname Bronco, known him forever. And he had this to say as a follow-up to our discussion about dropping a penny from a building and whether that penny would go through your head and kill you or not.
Right.
We talked about how the Mythbusters busted that myth and all that other stuff. Anyway, he says, just a note on last week's discussion on the dropping penny and whether or not it would penetrate your skull. Here is the applicable equation. He says he cut and pasted this because he doesn't know how to do scientific notation on his keyboard. It's K.E equals half M. So not one half, but half. Well, I guess it is one half. 1/2 M V2.
And it should be V squared. You just couldn't get the
the pasting
script on
work.
the two.
Yeah.
So it's
You're right.
KE equals 1/2 M V squared.
Yeah. So yeah, even if you cut and pasted it, it came out wrong in our thing.
Yep.
The formatting.
You should have pasted a photo.
Yeah. Yeah, should have given us a photo reference. Anyway, it says KE stands for, of course, kinetic energy. M is mass for the mass of the object, in this case the penny, and V is velocity, or how fast the object is moving. Because it is 1/2 M and V squared, the main factor that will affect how much damage that penny will do is how fast that it's falling, which we talked about, terminal velocity and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, Brian said that the penny would fall edge first, and this is incorrect. How things move through the air is greatly affected by drag. An arrow will travel point first and not tumble end over end because of its feathers being at the back and having the most drag. The way, I guess that's how, like shuttle. It's like a shuttlecock.
Shuttlecock is a great example. Yeah, all the drag is on one side of it, so that will be a parachute.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It works for exactly that principle. The most drag is caused by the open.
Right. So next time you see a shuttlecock, remember. I just love saying shuttlecock.
Right. Oh yeah.
Goes on to say, let's keep the arrow pointing first. Okay. A penny or any other round and flat object will have the biggest source of drag on the flat side rather than the edge. This is why when you drop a sheet of paper or an aluminum pie plate, it quickly flips to go horizontal and then flutters to the ground. This makes good sense, right? Like if you do.
Yep.
But sometimes things at scale don't always work that way, but I guess a penny does. Anyway.
Yeah.
So this is what will happen to a penny. Which will keep it from gaining too much speed. There's a lot of other factors to consider, like air currents, how smooth the penny surface is, etc. But these are the primary forces that will prevent the penny from going straight through your skull into the ground. Jeff Sire.
There we go.
Well, we really inspired some scientific thinking in Jeff's brain.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I always love hearing stuff from Jeff because my first and foremost thought, when you bring up Jeff Sire, when you bring up Bronco, I think, motorcycle guy comes down, rides his motorcycle from Canada all the way down to Nerdtacular, down to Snowbird. But we always forget about his great science background and his job and stuff like that. So
yeah, he's keeping, you guys don't know it, but if he threw a penny into the stuff he oversees, he could send Canada into the dark ages. So be safe out there.
Canadian pennies have holes in them, so they travel at a different speed.
Oh, yeah. What's the drag on a Canadian penny? Or a Canadian hole with a hole, money with a hole in it?
Let's say, how fast would a Timbit fall from the CN Tower if we were to drop it?
Let's not find out. Anyway, thanks, Jeff. We always like hearing from him. And you're right.
Hit the brass rail, eh?
Hey. Oh. Didn't go through your head, though, eh? We've disproved something with physics, eh? Let's get a beer. Jeff, you're right about Jeff in his image. Like, last time I saw him physically, he was riding a BMW-branded big old travel motorcycle beast.
Yeah.
And he's a big, wide dude that looks like he could tight end your freaking football team.
He's the guy I'd want to have with me in a fight in a dark alley.
Oh, 100%.
Leather jacket wearing, and then he could blind my opponents with science.
Him and Francois up there, those two guys that travel around together, I would happily walk into any situation with one on one side and one on the other, no problem. In fact, that's an intimidating bunch anyway with me or you, because you and I are both tall. Mm-hmm. Those guys are massive. We could run the world.
We could, yes.
What are we even doing?
We're doing the wrong thing. We're in the wrong business. What are we doing?
If you guys have questions or thoughts or feelings about anything we talk about on the show, be like Jeff. Send us emails, themorningstream@gmail.com.
Chat room seems to be more focused on the word shuttlecock. Actually, focused on half of the word shuttlecock.
Yeah, why are they, what's their deal? How come they're, it's almost as if they're, that we cater to a somewhat immature, kind of, well, they're a lot like us is what I'm saying. They're like us.
Yes. They're like us.
Yeah.
Yes.
They laugh when they hear the word.
13-year-olds deep at heart.
Shuttlecock.
They may be 39 and a half years old, but they're 13 deep down inside.
That's right. We should all honestly stay as young as you want to. Old people stress me out, so don't be old. Be young. It's all good. All right. We are going to do a little bit of public service here and do the news. So check this out.
Good morning, everybody. In the news this morning, good morning.
It's time for the news, and it's brought to you by
The Boop Show. Indie games coverage done right with Scott Johnson and Brian Dunaway. Tonight at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time at frogpants.tv or later via podcast.
That's right. Go get it. We're going to talk about cool stuff today. I'm talking about a game called Crying Suns. S-U-N-S.
Crying Suns.
Yeah. Like the sun, like soul, like the sun.
Right.
It's a science fiction tale that is also...
cry hot fire down on everybody?
Tears of flame. No, not really.
I know all there is to know about the Crying Suns.
I'd say I really like it, and it's also free right now on the Epic Store, so people should go get it.
Yeah.
It's normally a $30 game. Okay. Moving on, let's get to this first story. There is a bit of a pandemic that isn't related to COVID right now. It is a pandemic shortage of sperm.
Oh no!
Yeah, from the man wiener is where this is the ones we're talking about here. Sperm King megadonors are in high demand.
With a D.
Yeah,
okay.
Donor. They are in high demand right now. So, Brian, check your emails. You might be trying to track you down. They've been trying to get you a couple of days now.
Not going to track me down. I'm decaffeinated.
Oh, well, there you have it. It says here, these may not seem like
Don't
ideal.
Look to me to repopulate the Earth after the Blade Runner virus kills everybody.
Right. You'll be in Vegas then when it happens.
I'll be in Vegas. I'll be drinking out of a weird Johnny Walker bottle with Harrison Ford.
Yep. Why not?
Yeah. Call back.
That is what that was. It's like a weird future bottle.
Yeah,
I've
got one
Walker.
upstairs.
Oh, that's right. You have one.
I do, courtesy of Scarborough, John Scarborough.
That's pretty awesome.
Sent me a bottle of that stuff. It's great, and it is still great. I bring it out for special occasions. Have a sip. Well, more than a sip. I pour some into a glass and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Swish it around.
Did you? What was I going to say? Forgot.
I don't know.
It was a drinking question. It was a fine whiskey question.
Uh-huh. I'm a bad person to ask about fine whiskey.
Oh, would you call it smooth? Because everyone talks about smooth whiskey.
It's smooth and convincing, like Johnny Walker Black.
All right, fantastic. Just what I wanted to hear. Well, these may not seem like ideal times to bring new life into the world, but apparently not everyone sees it that way. In fact, despite all the well-documented difficulty of parenting during a pandemic, it would seem that many aspiring parents have decided to move forward with their reproductive plans anyway, and in some cases, sperm banks can't keep up. Now, this is for people who, need extracurricular man seed. Because they can't do it, right? They can't. The guys shooting blanks, right. Or the lady.
Well, or it could. Well, yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, that would be. If it's a sperm bank, then the infertility has to be on his side. Yes. Won't do much good if she's not able to have kids.
Oh, good point. Because then the sperm. Well, I guess they still could do I don't know.
Artificial insemination.
Yeah, I have a sister-in-law who could never have kids, and it was a combination of her and him, and so they adopted 3 kids. But my memory is at the time that they were seeking other stuff, and one of them was you could have a surrogate mother and surrogate sperm donor. Never the twain shall meet, and you'd still get the kid out of that deal, you know.
Right.
Anyway, nobody had to do it, though. There was no doing it. As far as I know.
Right.
The way that works, you don't do it. Anyway, according to a New York Times story here, sperm banks have had a record-breaking increase in demand over the past several months. It says here, enter the Sperm Kings. Ooh. They were my favorite
Netflix documentary.
They were my favorite theme gang in the what was it called?
Warriors.
Warriors, yeah, they were great. Come out and play
Warriors.
Hold
on, we'll be done in a second.
Give me another minute and a half.
Come out and play in about 5 minutes.
Keep it refrigerated. All right. The Times. This is the Times. The artist or the article writer Nellie Bowles has dubbed them the Sperm Kings. Anyway, these are men who, by donating their sperm, largely. Says they do it largely free of charge through online networks. You can find them in massive Facebook groups like Sperm Donation USA, which boasts around 11,000 members and counting. These groups have seen a large and recent surge in new members seeking sperm from these off-brand mega donors. Why is that name
mega donors?
Mega donor.
Like
it sounds like something we've said recently. Something about mega donor. Mega
donor.
Somebody was like a fake name we made for somebody. Something mega something.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I can't think of anything today.
Shoot, no.
My memory
that's never going to come back to my head.
Yep, can't remember what it is. Anyway, it's easy to understand why these online communities draw such big groups of parents. They want sperm, and sperm banks don't have enough. So these unregulated online alternatives offer less expensive options with fewer hoops to jump through. But what's in it for the Sperm Kings? Many who get very little for what they've done. Oh, I missed that part of the
someone
article.
Consider the Sperm Kings?
Now I need to know what they would. What is in it for them?
What they get?
Yeah, what is it? See, okay, I'm looking
the
here.
Satisfaction of a job well done.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. For some, it might be a sex thing. While most donors reportedly specify they will donate through artificial insemination only, others offer donations via natural insemination.
Yeah, exactly.
Also known as an act of sexual intercourse.
Exactly. Yep, I'm a sperm donor, but I won't masturbate.
Yeah.
It's only
I won't do
natural delivery.
It's against my religion.
So I'm guessing a lot of these unregulated options don't have any vetting.
Oh,
There's
no.
like zero.
No.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of concerned about it. I mean, I don't know what you need to do, if anything needs to be done. If you're desperate enough to go to a online, like a Facebook group that offers like sperm donation services, like you're already dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight. Like, what are you even doing?
Right. Oh my God, Claire Gack figured it out. Wolfhard Meganorman.
That was it. Wolfhard Meganorman.
Wolfhard Meganorman.
And it was you who said it. It was Brian.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite
I was trying to remember
things.
the kid from Stranger Things, wasn't I? Like
Yes.
Wolfhard Meganorman.
That's one of my favorite fake names ever on this show. Wolfhard Meganorman.
If you ever go to Vegas and you're looking for me and I'm under an assumed name, just call every hotel and ask for Wolfhard Meganorman.
Mr. Meganorman, your table is ready, Mr. Meganorman.
Paging Mr. Meganorman. Mr. Meganorman.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. I love it though. Anyway, if you're anxious to get your sperm out there in the market, apparently it's easier than we thought. So go do that. Here's a Turkish. Wait, your background is not Turkish. It's
not at all. It's Hungarian.
Hungarian. All right, I always forget. Well, good. This won't offend you at all.
I only get turkey in me once a year.
Well, you will not be offended at all by this story then. A Turkish TV preacher was jailed for 1,000 years for sex crimes. Someone doth protest too much once again.
He's just trying to be a mega donor.
Yeah, he's a mega Norman donor. Turkish Muslim televangelist who surrounded himself with scantily clad women on TV was jailed for more than 1,000 years on Monday for sex crimes, according to local media.
Could have seen that one coming.
Yeah, feels like, I don't know. Well, let's see if we think it's too harsh or not. Adnan Akhtar preached conservative views while women he called his kittens, many of whom appeared to have plastic surgery, danced around him in the TV studio. What does the plastic surgery have to do with any of this? That's weird. Many of whom appeared to have plastic surgery done. Ooh, scandal.
But he looks like, looking at the photo right now, and he kind of looks a little bit like Jeremy the Mandarin from Iron Man.
He does, dude.
And the guy behind him with the microphone looks like he's holding Parappa the Rapper.
He does. Punch, kick, it's all in the mind.
It's all in the mind.
I like to think that's what he's saying. Yeah, he does look like it. You'll never see me coming.
That's the problem. You'll never see me coming.
Yeah.
I'm a mega donor.
He says, let's see, 64-year-old detained. Well, he colors his hair for sure.
Yeah.
Detained in June 2018 was part of a crackdown on his group by the Financial Crimes Unit of the Istanbul Police. It used to be Constantinople, by the way.
That's right.
He was sentenced to 1,075 years for crimes including, you know what? The headline just saying 1,000, and then this saying specifically 1,075. Mm-hmm. I understand if you say 8 and then you say 10. But 75 years is an entire lifetime of somebody who lives to be 70. That's a huge chunk to add on.
That is once you get over a certain amount, though, whether it's 1,000, 1,075, or 20,000, it really doesn't matter.
I guess so. You're right. But it's like when people say,
"But it's not like."
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's not like they, it's not like they were trying to save space in the headline. Preacher jailed 1,075 years for sex crimes would have worked just as well as 1,000 years for sex crimes.
There you go.
Or over 1,000 years for sex crimes. I mean, it doesn't seem,
And it's not lost on me, and I'd like to point this out, that this happens a lot here, like a mega church or like a televangelist will fall off the wagon and, find out about some horrible controversy. They've been up screaming at gays and whatever, and then they're caught in a hotel room with a gay prostitute or whatever, that sort of stuff. Happens all the time. And it's nice to see.
The fact that he surrounded himself with scantily clad women on TV. It wasn't it was less of a doth protest too much and more of a, well, I mean.
Yeah, what'd you expect?
Is there a surprise here?
But it's nice. You can say, maybe Muslims and Christians can get along after all, because this guy screwed up in they both did a terrible thing.
They can be equally hypocritical.
Yeah, the future's bright for these two mega religions, mega donors. Anyway, let's see here. Here's what he was included in his thing: sexual assault, sexual abuse of minors, fraud, and attempted political and military espionage. Jeez. Wow. What does that even mean? Some 236 suspects have been on trial in the case, 78 of whom have been under arrest, according to the official Anadolu news agency. The hearings have featured lurid details and harrowing sex crime allegations. In December, he told a judge that he had close to 1,000 girlfriends. He just needs 75 more to make it.
Exactly. Is it 1,000 girlfriends or is it 1,075 girlfriends?
He says there is an overflowing of love in my heart for women. Love is a human quality. It is a quality of a Muslim, he said in another hearing in October. Yeah, he sounds like a bit of a wackadoo. Now, whether or not, I don't know the exact crimes or how they do stuff over there, but it feels like 1,075 might be just a little overkill. Maybe you could have said 100. It's not going to matter. He's 65. He's going to die in jail.
Right.
So what's the point? I don't know. I don't get that. Whatever.
It's
Turkey.
just fun to be able to say, and we're going to stack some more years. Like it's the principal, or not the principal, but Dick Vernon stacking detention after detention after detention on John Bender.
That's a good comparison.
You just bought yourself another Saturday. Yeah. And another. You want more?
Here come the FBI guys.
He's not going to do any of them.
That guy, dude. He's great.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have died either.
Yeah. Show Dick some respect.
Yeah, show him some damn respect. Do we ever get like a proper reunion of that cast or anything? I'm sure that's happened, right? Like the Breakfast Club people all get together?
There was a thing, there was like a, when John Hughes was still alive, there was some awards show brought as many of the Brat Packers together on stage all at once. But this seems like this would have been the year that because this was the year of like, well, we can't all get together in a studio. I know, we'll have Josh Gad get everybody together from certain movies and have them talk about their movie experience.
Yeah.
And they absolutely should have done that this year and had, Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson. And
because it does look like they did a 25-year one, and it says they reunited and remembered John Hughes. But what was this? I think it's what you're talking about.
That was after John Hughes passed away.
Yeah, and I think it may have been what you're talking about, like that event.
Okay, so it was like because John Hughes wasn't there, and I thought Molly Ringwald said, yeah, he couldn't join us, as opposed to, well, we're really sad that John couldn't be with us for this.
Ali Sheedy says, now I'm seeing this with my daughter who's here. She is 16, and I'm going to watch it with her. It's very cool.
Oh.
Yeah, but now you got to ask her questions like, was that your real dandruff, Mom?
That's
Things
right,
like that.
Exactly. Did you really? Did
you
really
put potato chips in your
on your excellent line drawing?
Yeah, your excellent line drawing.
It was a great line drawing. It was a great
it was
pastoral scene.
No, it was. I just like I like the credit you gave it. That excellent line drawing that you did, Mom.
Line drawing. It was not a watercolor. It was not a pastel. It was a line drawing.
Oh, it's so weird to see these guys.
Yeah.
Look at them all hanging out.
It is.
Judd, what's his name? Not Judd Nelson.
Judd Nelson.
Nelson. He's he wears little professor readers, little glasses down on his nose.
Little glasses.
Yeah, that's a fine look. He's not as rebellious looking as he used to be.
No, I bought a John Hughes documentary a couple weeks ago. It was like it was made for YouTube. Basically, it was a bunch of film students.
Yeah.
It's called Don't You Forget About Me, and it was when John Hughes was still alive. And they are film students that just love his work and wanted to travel across country to his hometown in Illinois where he lives, and find him. And they like used every method they could to figure out where he lived. They finally got to the pizza place that he frequently orders from. Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, here's what he always orders, and da-da-da-da. And somehow they got his address, maybe through that and a combination of Google or whatever. And so they tried to bring him a pizza and say, could we do an interview? Here's like the first part. They gave him the first part of the documentary that they had shot.
Yeah.
They were in the process of shooting, and said, we'd really love to do an interview. And about 2 weeks later, they get a FedEx in the mail. After they've gone back home with no interview, they get a FedEx in the mail, and it's their letter and the DVD that they gave him with no response or anything.
Oh my gosh,
it's just like, oh,
too bad.
Yeah,
that's kind of a bummer. I mean, it cannot be overstated. It was a really
sweet documentary, and they interviewed everybody,
all
like
the
janitor from the Breakfast Club, that dude, and Judd Nelson, and Macaulay Culkin, and it was a really good documentary. There was just no payoff at the end.
Wait, Macaulay Culkin is in just as a John Hughes reference?
Yeah, just as a John Hughes connection. Yeah, because it wasn't just about the Breakfast Club. It was about all the John Hughes movies.
Cannot be overstated just how influential he was as a filmmaker for our generation. Just it was enormous. Like when I saw that movie when I was 15, it was the. I'm trying to give an example of a different generation's version of this. Because since then, it's been like almost every generation feels the same way about Breakfast Club when they watch it. At least my kids did. But like, I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there's something else for like people in the 50s or 60s or 70s, and they saw a thing and just went, this is my generation or something.
Yeah.
And
it has there been something like that for the current generation? Like,
I don't think so. Not that I know of. I mean, there's
Clueless. Was Clueless for that for some people?
Oh, I don't know. Is it? That'll make me sad. if it is.
I don't know. I mean, that's just a decade later than Breakfast Club. It might have been.
But it's kind of bad.
It's not that bad.
It's kind of bad. It's not bad. It's just sort of bad.
It's a retelling of Emma from Jane Austen.
And specifically what I'm looking for is... Chow's mad at me about this. What I'm looking for here is like a film of a generation that is about you and your formative years. And that... So was Rebel Without a Cause that for our parents? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it
Blackboard Jungle or
yeah, like what was it for you guys? American Pie? Oh man.
Yeah. See, now that's
I mean maybe it is.
I would argue that Clueless is a better movie than American Pie.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But see, Ferris Bueller again. Maybe I'm counting everything John Hughes did when he did it when I was a teenager. They all felt that way to me. They felt like anthems to my generation.
Yeah, Some Kind of Wonderful, 16 Candles.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
And in Ferris Bueller's case, that was just a power fantasy for us. It was like, no, we were not like Ferris, and nobody knew anyone like Ferris, but we knew a lot of people like Cameron, and we knew a lot of people like the girlfriend, and we knew a lot of people like the crappy principal and all that. So for us, it was like, oh man, if to be like Ferris Bueller would be the greatest thing. So I mean, those things are all. I just can't think of a good one for all the rest of you. What I'm saying is, I feel bad for everybody else. We had the coolest filmmaker for our teen years, and none of the rest of you have that guy.
I'm so sorry you didn't have what we had. Everybody else.
Sorry, everyone else. Sorry. Empire Records is a good
that horrible principal, Jeffrey Jones. I know this is a bizarre tangent, but I watched a really short documentary yesterday from Defunctland, which talks about rides at Disneyland that either were taken out or never finished or never built or whatever. Yeah. And at Disneyland, there was going to be the thing, and I think it lasted maybe a month, called Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. And it was in Tomorrowland. It took up the space where Mission to Mars used to be.
Okay.
And it was one of their typical things that's a combination of a ride and a show, except you're really just sitting in rows of seats that move and rumble and stuff like that while all the action happens on stage. And it was originally intended to be based on Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yeah.
And they said, no, George Lucas stepped in, well, let's just make it a little bit friendlier. I don't know. Because he was already doing Star Tours at the time. Yeah. And so they had a video that had this like setup of the premise of alien invasion, and Jeffrey Jones played the head alien.
Oh, no way.
And
was this pre all his allegations of like child porn and all that?
2 months. So the ride opened 2 months before the Jeffrey Jones bad stuff hit the fan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then they said, yeah, we don't want this in our park. I think we're done. And then they turned it into a Stitch ride.
Well, the chat room says something about somebody died on it. A kid died on it?
A kid apparently died, yeah, which is weird because that was like a, it's like a rumble rows of seats. There's not a lot of movement going on.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that about Jeffrey Jones, though. That's news to me.
Yeah, the extraterrestrial alien encounter.
Here's the other problem. A couple people in the chat said, hey, what about Reality Bites or what about a Kevin Smith movie? Here's the problem. Both those cases are movies aimed at the grunge era 20-somethings. That was us also.
Yeah.
We were the 20-year-olds they were talking to. So we were just moving up the chain, and the chain kept moving with us. So that doesn't count. I'm talking about like junior. You're a junior in high school. What movie speaks to you like no other, specifically to that experience? And I can't think of anything other than Breakfast Club.
Oh, wow. Can't Hardly Wait in the 90s says Mushed Potatoes. The Seth Green.
That's a good one.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. That actually is a really good one.
Yeah,
Great
I'll give you that.
soundtrack on that album.
Yeah.
On that movie.
I'll give you that.
Napoleon Dynamite for people.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. And I love Napoleon Dynamite.
But who do you connect with? You can't say that you connect with Napoleon or Pedro in that movie. You got to be. Or Kip.
Yeah. I don't know who you relate to either, other than if you relate to just being kind of an outcast, maybe, and you just.
I with Breakfast Club, it was like IMAX colors. You watch that movie and say, "Oh yeah, I'm the Brian in that film," or "I'm the Claire," or "I'm the."
All were represented, at least variations of what you might be, or pieces of who you are, or who you know. I'm just telling you. I also think it's a perfect movie for when it was and what it was. But
yeah, it really was. Yeah, Say Anything was great too. And again, we were graduating. I feel like we were graduating right around the time that Say Anything came out. I guess a couple of years before Say Anything came out.
Yeah. And we're talking movies here. There's plenty of TV shows we could point to. Like I'd say, My So-Called Life is, if there aren't 90s kids who don't feel really strongly about that when they were in high school in the 90s, like I'd be shocked because that thing was really a big deal. So if you're talking TV, that's different. But just like singular hour and a half, 2 hour movie, just like bonk, there it is, and it sits upon a hill and shines forever. What is it? And for me, it's that. Oh, Grosse Point Blank. But see, that's for me. That's for me and Brian again.
Right. Again, that was their 10th graduation anniversary.
Reunion. He graduated in 87. He was in 97 going back to his 10-year anniversary or 10-year graduation thing back at Grosse Point High. He was us again. It was us. Yeah. It was exactly my age. So,
yeah.
I'm not saying we're special, Brian, but what I'm saying is
every movie is targeted at us.
It's really weird.
Crazy.
It's really weird how that stuff followed us through. A little bit. Some of those like hallmark points in filmmaking seem to follow our age group in a way that, I don't know, it's weird. I'm sure I'm biased and it doesn't matter, but I'm sticking to it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this story.
Yeah.
Officers arrest a man suspected of stealing Corona police cruiser. Corona, the area, not the beer or the virus.
The beer. Does Corona beer sponsor police cruisers these days?
The new Corona Prowler.
Got a bunch of limes in the trunk.
Says this is great because the reason I did this story is it reminds me of playing GTA 5 or something where you get in an altercation with the cops, you wreck the car you already stole, and in the altercation you run up, grab one of the cop cars and take off in it. That's what happened here.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Is that really what happened? Oh my God. So he just
That's basically it. It says a man suspected of stealing an unmarked police vehicle following a crash on an Inland Empire Freeway has been arrested after he ran into an apartment complex. So he wrecked that too. Corona police say that after an officer pulled over, the suspect ran at him with a gun. Well, that's no good. Gunfire was exchanged. Whenever they say exchanged gunfire, it's like, it sounds too nice, you know?
Yeah.
Would you like a bullet? Yes, thank you. I'd like to exchange a bullet for your bullet. No injuries reported in the shootout. The suspect left his crumpled car. That's not nice. That it was involved in the earlier collision. Let's see. And then he took off in this car the cop had. Officers later found the suspect. He had not been identified in an apartment complex in the La Sierra neighborhood of Riverside. And it says he barricaded himself in there, but eventually surrendered. They say the man was arrested, and there are no other outstanding suspects. The suspect was taken into a hospital for treatment of unspecified injuries. Probably not shot, because he has a better chance because he's Brian, he's a white guy. Okay? Let's just say it.
Yeah.
White guys don't get shot as much. The unmarked patrol car was found in a strip parking lot lot, and a photo from the scene shows an abandoned white pickup in the middle of the freeway. So that guy's done. Put a screw in that one. Oh, someone grew up there. Bagheera, you grew up in that area? Nice. How normally a nice neighborhood? You guys, fine place to live?
In Riverside. Riverside Press Telegram, I think, was the newspaper.
Riverside, California, yeah.
Yeah. Riverside Press Telegram.
I had a friend from Riverside who was a cocaine addict from age 14 until 21.
Oh, wow.
And then he kicked the habit completely, never did it again, but he would break out in these crazy rashes as a result of his time with cocaine. And so you'd just be sitting there with him, and suddenly the side of his face would turn red and puff out. And it'd be one side, and then his arm would do the same thing. And he just had to have Benadryl to pop with him, and it would be fine. It would take a few minutes, but he would get rid of it. But it was all from that. It was a side effect of those years of coke, I guess.
God.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, Press Enterprise, not Press Telegram.
His name was Sui Tui Tupo. He was a Polynesian guy I knew, and he had a great name.
Really?
Yeah, we called him Tui. Was it Tui? Oh, it's been a long time. Been a long time. Actually, I saw a Kevin Smith movie with him, so there you go. Bring it all full
everything
circle.
all comes back.
Yep. All right, here's a final story today. Excuse me. A new study has proven that tomato ketchup is literally perfect. Now, you know about my feelings about flies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
that would be an example of imperfection, the flies.
I would say that, but I guess the actual formula of the stuff itself is considered perfect. Scientists have discovered that there is something particular particular in ketchup that keeps us coming back time and time again. As with any good food, it's all a matter of taste. Our perception of taste is made of 5 separate sensations: sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and the elusive umami.
Mm-hmm.
There are many sauces that cater to one or many of these senses, but almost all fail to hit us with all 5. It says here, remarkably, ketchup is one of the only foods on this planet that does. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I do crave it if you give me, like, eggs. If you say, hey, Scott, we're doing scrambled eggs.
Pass the ketchup.
Please give me ketchup. If you say, Scott, here's French fries, I need it. I need ketchup. It says, for this reason, some scientists have dubbed ketchup the perfect food. When we taste it, our entire palate is satisfied to the extent where, if the manufacturer gets it right, we don't get one particular spike of flavor, but rather an overwhelming sense of deliciousness. This is why ketchup is the ultimate accompaniment to almost any dish, but though our 4 players of sweet, salty, bitter, bitter, and sour certainly play their part, it is the mysterious presence of umami that makes the ketchup so remarkable. That's almost impossible to articulate. It is the deep savoriness that is delivered by a well-placed shave of Parmesan and the rich warmth of a bowl of broth. That's your umami.
Yeah, it is. It is hard to describe umami as a flavor.
Yeah, it simply means delicious in Japanese, and it's an indiscernible sensation that was makes some foods irresistibly Moorish, whatever that means. I don't get that. Meaning you want more?
Meaning that you want more and more. Yeah,
maybe. M-O-R-E.
Twistedfood.co.uk.
That's what I'm saying. This is psycho. Anyway, you don't know what to call it. You just know it's there. It's kind of like that. Who was somebody on the Supreme Court years ago in the 60s or 70s or something had that famous phrase of they were talking about porn, what to outlaw and whatever, and he said, I don't know how to define porn, but I know it when I see it. Something like that. So that's what they're saying about ketchup or umami. Anyway, so if you didn't know any better, and forget about the flies for a minute, that they're allowed a certain number of FDA flies.
Maybe that's what causes the umami. It's it's the flies. It's the
it's the flies.
It's the flies that are that unintangible, unmistakable flavor thing.
There you
flavor
go.
Profile.
I will say Kim bought some sugar-free ketchup just to try it, and it is really good. It's just more tart, kind of tomatoey. Yeah. So that was still fine. I'm still getting most of those flavors. I'm just not getting the sweet, I guess.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyway.
And you can always put a little monk fruit sugar in there.
There you go.
Absolutely need it.
That's right. I found a little sweetener packets that are half monk fruit, half stevia.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. You'd probably like them, actually.
I probably would, yeah.
I'll find out what brand
like,
it is and let you know.
Huh.
Some cheap brand we got at the Sprouts or somewhere. All right, we're going to take a break because news is over, but that doesn't mean we're done because Justin Robert Young is going to be joining us. What a week we've had since we talked to him last when he was in Georgia, and he'll be back. We'll be talking to him here after the break. Before that, a song, and Brian will now tell us what it is.
I will. It's Gus Dapperton. Yes, Gus Dapperton. He's got a brand new album. Actually, he's got an album that he put out this year called Orca, and he's just released a couple new music videos for a couple of his songs, and they're really cool. There's something very glowy and warm about these that kind of amplify the songs, kind of like the umami flavor in ketchup. This is dream pop for sure. So if you like dream pop, you'll like this. The album is called Orca. The brand new single that he's just released a video for is called Medicine. Got a little bit of maybe a Red House Painters low vibe to this. Anyway, I totally dig it. Here's Gus Dapperton and Medicine.
Hi there. My name's George. This is my first video. I like to drink. So let's see what happens from here.
Can I let the ladybug go?
The morning stream. It's totes fat.
And we're back. I love this lady.
Can I let the ladybug go?
I don't know why she makes me laugh. Can I let the ladybugs go? Welcome back.
Let it go.
It's I don't even know the context of that. Hey, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's time to follow through on our commitment to bring Justin in. So stand back. Keep your legs and arms in at all times. It's going to get weird. I don't know if it's going to get weird. It may not.
It's going to get weird in here, people.
It may not.
Stand by.
It might be normal as all get out. Who knows? Yeah. But I do know this. We got to play this before we can do anything else.
These are their stories.
Oh, what? That was weird. Hold on.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
I'm not. It's Justin Robert Young joining us back in beautiful downtown. I don't know if he's in downtown. He's in Oakland is where he's at. He's no longer in the fine state of Georgia and made it home. We're glad you're home, by the way. How you feel? How you doing?
Yes.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. Got back home out of quarantine yesterday.
Yeah.
Spent 6 days in 2 different hotels and then got 2 different tests, and now I'm back. Finally.
What's with the how come 2 hotels, not just the one?
First hotel sucked, so I left.
Oh, okay.
It was just a bad. It was just a bit of a bad hotel. It was in an area that I like, and I think it takes advantage of the fact that it has a good location.
Gotcha.
And, I knew I was into something when they had a sign saying our HVAC is currently under repair. So there's going to be no air conditioning and no heat, and it's a little chilly down here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And so I said, is it going to be fixed while I'm here? I'm here for 3 days. And he's like, oh, it's just an old building. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm
that's a no.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, not really an answer to your question either. More of a.
So I found out that I actually had 2 free nights from hotels.com. And so I used it on a better hotel across the street.
Oh, well, nice. And your tests are these the you got to jam your nose thing tests or a different kind of test this time? I'm curious what the tests are these days. What are we doing for tests?
So I actually did a little calling around because when I went to Georgia, the UK has approved a test that is basically like a pregnancy test for COVID.
You pee on it?
I don't know if you pee on it, but you do spit on it, I think. And then a line shows up and you find out whether or not you have COVID. But it's like it's a thing that you do right there in the privacy of your own home. Mm-hmm. So I that has not been approved here, but I made a few calls because I was going to be in Georgia, and I know some people that work in the film world there.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I mean, if anybody's going to have these tests floating around, especially because Georgia has a large footprint for Pinewood Studios, which is British. And I'm like, you know anybody with these COVID tests? And they're like, no, but on Amazon, there's a test called the Dexterity test, Dexterity. It's $100. I got one of those. I used it where I would effectively have seen, I would have been testable from the Trump rally. Mm-hmm. And you spit in a vial, you send it off. It's overnight. I did it on Thursday. I got my results when I woke up Saturday morning. So it was a very fast turnaround.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, here it is. Authorized for asymptomatic and symptomatic testing. The Saliva at Home collection kit with prepaid express return label and laboratory PCR testing. $110. Or get 1,000 of them for a $10 per vial discount. So,
oh yeah. So yeah, if you're doing some big, gigantic, super crazy testing thing, then I guess they hook you up. But yeah, so I did that, and then I did a rapid test yesterday.
Yeah.
To double check, and that was 5 days after me being on the plane. Which, to be totally honest, the more I read about the plane stuff, the less I worry about it. I think my last major exposure event was at the Trump rally, and even then I was double masked. So
yeah,
and it was outside.
Yeah, and it was cold, and those masks are actually kind of cool when it's cold. They actually help. I've found.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's I'm a fan.
So when you left that,
keep my little face.
you left that event, got in a plane, and while in the plane with about an hour to spare before you landed in SFO, I believe. Did you know what was happening at the Capitol then? Had you heard, or was there a way for you to find out? Did you get internet on that
Here's
flight?
what I knew. What I knew. I knew that there was a skirmish outside the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
Then we took off. I'm getting no text messages, but I am getting DMs, and I'm seeing Twitter, and that's when I saw all the actual riot and carnage and looting and everything take place.
Okay, so you were in air when that was going down.
Paid for the Wi-Fi. Was there? Did you have a TV in the seat in front of you you could watch the news on or anything? Or
no, it was one of those where we did not have a TV. In fact, the only thing that I had was a lady sitting next to me who was watching the movie Unhinged and was freaking out about it. Like she was like, I've never heard somebody yell as loud as she did on that plane about the movie Unhinged. She was just every moment that something happened. Oh,
that's the Russell Crowe road rage.
Fat Russell Crowe is killing people like a mother, and he is running people over, and he is shooting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that? I mean, did you see enough of it to say whether that was any good? Like, do I want to see that?
It certainly was.
I give it 2 screaming ladies.
Am I too low?
You're a little on the quiet side. I have you set up so later in post I can pump you up, so I didn't want to.
I can turn it up here now.
Oh, there you go. That's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you see enough of it to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go watch that whole movie again"? That looks awesome. Can't wait to see Russell Crowe. No. Okay.
I did not. No.
All right.
No.
Fair enough.
I mean, it seemed. I don't know. It seemed like falling down, but with Fat Russell Crowe. I do like the idea of saying Fat Russell Crowe, though. That is a very fun thing to say over and over and over.
It is. It rolls off the tongue. All right. So you get home and you hear about what's going on. We're not quite a week away from when this all went down, which is, I guess, last Wednesday. Mm-hmm. What do we know about the stuff that's happening in terms of like the reaction is all, if anyone's been paying attention, a lot has happened since last week. We're not to get into all of it, but people banned from Twitter, entire social platforms that sort of cater to extreme views removed completely. Lots of free market action going on where everybody from Marriott down to people's lawyers over to overseas banks and the PGA Tour and everybody just canceling, stopping, no more donations. Bill Belichick not going to accept a Presidential Medal of Freedom award. Just everything and all things seem to be happening, and a 20-point drop in Trump's points. But it is hard to tell what is actually happening. Like, and maybe you don't know, but like at the legislative level, you hear a lot about, we're going to draw up these articles of impeachment. Even one more day in office is too much, blah, blah, blah. But what is actually happening? Like, are they doing that? Is something happening? Like, what's happening in Washington? Forget about all I've been soaked in all week is opinions up to my earlobes. Mm-hmm. And I can't seem to see anything like, I'm looking for that thread of like, what's actually happening? And I don't know.
I guess what isn't happening? I mean, there's certainly a lot of talk. There is we are going to get articles of impeachment, and Donald Trump will likely become the first president to ever be impeached twice.
Yeah.
It's unlikely we will see him removed. Mm-hmm. And I think it is unlikely that we will see the 25th Amendment invoked. And there is conversation. I mean, I think there is more realistic conversation about the 25th Amendment now than there ever has been in the existence of that amendment, which was put in 1967 in the wake of Kennedy being killed, as a way to kind of basically with the idea being, okay, well, if Kennedy was shot and he was in a vegetative state, would LBJ have immediately become the president, right? And
Right.
so the 25th Amendment was put in there for that. There is a active legal question of exactly, and I think you know it now because we are talking about it now more seriously than we ever have, a legal question of exactly how fast this could go.
Right.
And whether or not legally acting secretaries can be a part of that majority, whether or not there would be how fast a legal challenge from the president saying that they couldn't would be resolved, and whether or not all of that would happen before Trump actually is scheduled to leave office on January 20th.
Mm-hmm.
The other side, of course, is impeachment and removal. I think because 25th Amendment is not going to happen, we will almost certainly get impeachment. The removal part, I think, is unlikely because nobody wants to swing that axe. You know, if Nancy Pelosi really wanted to swing that axe, then she would just move ahead with impeachment now instead of waiting. The other side of that is the Senate Republicans who don't want to do this, who don't want to impeach and remove a president from their own party, even though he has become odious to many of them, more so than they had before, basically saying, hey, look, we can impeach and remove Trump, or we could go through the motions to remove him, but this will cut into Biden's first 100 days.
Yeah.
And so if Biden wants to use his first 100 days to continue the Trump show, then he can. Biden has offered a solution to go every other day. So I guess like odd days they'll impeach Trump, and even days they'll carry forward his agenda. But I think that it's probably unlikely. What we're going to see is a portion of the country very upset that he is not removed. He will filter out of government, and Biden will get a clean first 100 days.
Well, I would argue there's no way anyone gets a clean 100 days as Trump leaves. Like, there's just depends on what you define as a clean 100 days. If the clean 100 days is
no, I mean that legislatively.
Okay, so legislatively, okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
That's what they care about.
Right.
They care about that on the legislative docket,
right?
Because the Democrats now run the Senate, they will be able to say, now we're going to move forward with $2,000 checks. Now we're going to move forward with a domestic terrorism thing. Now we're going to move forward with this, that, and the other. So
right.
That's what they care about, and that is within their control.
Okay, that makes sense to me. By the way, I don't know if anyone knows this. For a long time, I thought the 25th Amendment was the most recent amendment to the Constitution. I don't know why I thought that, but that was just in my head. There was also the 26th Amendment on March of 1971, which was a one that would deny the right of citizens 18 years of age or older to vote on account of age. So you couldn't deny somebody over 18. No, what was it? I don't know, whatever it was. I don't understand the 26th, but the 27th was the most recent, which was 92. That wasn't that long ago.
No,
and that was just
more
a law
recent than I would have expected. Yeah,
that law states, or that amendment was all about Pearl Jam was only going to be good for about 3 albums, and then the rest of it would be weird. No, just kidding. It's really the 27th is it delays laws.
Eat it versus.
It says delays laws affecting congressional salary from taking effect until after the next election of representatives. So a really boring one there at the tail end, but.
Were they like passing that like during the Gulf War? Like while Schwarzkopf was getting all the headlines, they were passing an amendment?
Let's see. It was oh, that's crazy. Hold on a second. What is this category? Time span? Oh. Okay. Proposed? That's crazy. Hold on a second. That amendment was proposed in September 25th of 1789. 202 years later, 223 days, they made it law in 1982 as an actual amendment, or 92 as an amendment. That's nuts. The rest of these are like, 2 years took them 309 days. This one took 100 days. The 25th, for example, took a year and 219 days. This took 200 years, 202 years. That's bananas. I love that. All right. Well, I learned something today. I hope you all did as well. All right. So let's say they don't, as much as I think there's a million reasons why the 25th could be and should be, and if there was ever a time to use it, now would be the time. I also think that whatever Pelosi does or whatever the Congress does, they can do it quick. If they can get, what was her name? Mary Nancy Carter or whatever the hell the name of the new Supreme Court Justice lady is. I forgot her name.
Amy Coney Barrett.
That's the one. 3 names. If they got her in 8 days, they could do this in 10. Like, they can do this.
Well,
whether
because
they have the political will,
votes. They have the votes, right?
Right.
So it's like whenever we're talking, like, let's be realistic. If there's one thing that we need to do right now in an era where we can all agree that hyperbole and hysteria has led us into dark, awful places, then let's just try to understand the rules of the game.
Right.
The rules of the game here is, I think that we were sold the idea. The 25th Amendment became this catch-all idea that I don't know if it realistically is, and it certainly has never been tried. This is the closest that I think we've seriously talked about it, and I don't think that we should think about it like it's Michael Scott declaring bankruptcy in The Office, right? You can't just say Harry Potter magic words and then a thing happens. There is a process for which takes time. Now, would there have been more time afforded earlier in the presidency? Absolutely. If people wanted to use the 25th Amendment then. But let's just understand that not everything is as we want it to be.
Right.
Things can move fast in the Senate and the House if you have the votes. So the question then becomes, if you don't have the votes, why don't you have the votes, and can you get the votes? And that is, I think, the conversation that should be had, not just us looking up to the sky and screaming that this should be going faster. Because sure, it should, but if you want to put pressure on the people that would move this forward, then put pressure on the fence Republican senators to say that they will remove Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, that is the process. Like, that's what we're stuck with. Whether or not a billion people on various social media platforms think they have the perfect idea on how to solve this, I'm having to come to grips with this concept.
Or dickheads who guest on Tuesdays on the Morning Stream podcast. I mean, again, this is just my opinion as somebody who watches this probably more than most, but please just try. God damn, do we just need realistic thinking right now? I mean, more than anything, we need realistic thinking, because it's the only way that I think we can connect with each other on anything that's real. Other than that, if we build these castles for ourselves where every element of our worldview is reinforced and all biases are confirmed, then I don't think that we can look outside of our gates and see a neighbor. I think we always see an enemy.
I agree with that.
Every cloud becomes a monster, and we get more and more inside of our own worldview. And guess what? People who got really, really inside their own worldview, either for the lulz or by way of domestic terrorism or a coup. I'm not here to suss out their motivations. I'm here to define the actions, that there were rioters and looters that were disrupting the people's business in the Capitol. And I don't think it came because they were connected with the world. I think that it was the exact opposite. Yeah. So I don't think retreating is what we want, if what we want is the opposite of what happened.
Yeah, I agree with you on all of that. But I would add that if for realistic thinking to start to happen, part of that realistic thinking can be seeking what's the word I'm looking for? Repercussions for what happened. In other words, I don't know that we can just all move on and start thinking more logically if we don't also have some justice here. Like, there needs to be, it can't just be, now you've been sucker punched, but don't worry. Now's the time for healing. Now's the time for accountability, and for those accountable to be held to account. Why can't that happen as part of that thinking, is my take. Can't we have both?
I'm not saying you can't.
Right.
I'm saying, how do you want to do it?
I guess let investigative bodies do their thing. And
so just So let the process take
Let
over.
the process happen. Yeah. I mean, what else I can't do anything else.
Then I'm telling you what the process is going to do. Nothing.
It has to do something.
Well, okay. No, but then you don't want the process to take over.
Here's what I just dumped tea everywhere. What I'm not saying, I'm not making myself very clear. I guess what I'm saying. I mean,
again, I know people get frustrated with me, and I know that this is something where I get, even from people that I would consider friends, just slammed as everything, including a racist. But like, I'm all I'm trying to do is explain to you what by my view I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
That's it. And you can be mad at me for saying that I think he's going to be impeached, but I don't think he's going to be removed. You can be mad at me for saying that I don't think that the 25th Amendment is going to be invoked, or that it might not be everything that's been promised to us by way of our media. But I don't think that necessarily brings us any closer to the goals that you want.
Right.
And I guess that's the only thing that I could be a cold, awful person for this, but I try to be objective oriented. And if the objective you want is to remove Donald Trump from office before his term ends on January 20th, then the pressure you need to put on are the people, Nancy Pelosi, to drop this stupid thing where she's going to try to run time off the clock by asking Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment, which is a total you do it, no, you do it hot potato. Mm-hmm. She needs to put forth the articles of impeachment yesterday, let alone today or tomorrow, because every hour that is ticking off this clock is one in which it'll be easier for more hours to tick off. And then at that point, transmit the articles immediately, not after 100 days like Jim Clyburn wants, and put your pressure on the people that are making noise that they would review articles of impeachment, like Senator Toomey of Pennsylvania, and say, will you vote to remove now in a way that you did not a year ago?
Yeah.
That's that. Like we can be mad that the barking dog on the internet wasn't jumping up and down and screaming that Donald Trump needs to be removed immediately, or you can actually try to achieve your goals.
Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that. I think that's all legit. It is a new kind of practice for, I think, people to start to see the process for what it is, accept it for what it is, and apply pressure where actual work can get done and not just flame out, and fall apart, which is easy to get into that trap. So, yeah, I don't disagree. I think all of that needs to happen, and accountability also sometimes can come later in other ways. I'm not convinced that anyone's going to be fully satisfied by whatever happens in the next 10 days, but
yeah, spoiler alert, they won't.
Yeah, they won't.
Like, we're not in a particularly unified moment in the country. We don't particularly agree with consistent facts. We have a president for whom pushed a negotiate. What we clearly saw was a negotiation window so far that he not only destroyed an element of faith that people had in the government and his own political career, but also likely a generation of politicians from the party for which he calls his home, at least temporarily.
Yeah.
It was pushing a negotiation window forward because he immediately caved the next day. Mm-hmm. The next day he knocked it off and was like, peaceful transition of power. And it's like, right. The day before he was like, we can never concede. You can never concede when stuff like that happens. 24 hours later, he conceded.
Yeah.
Like, it is, we're just a mess. We're an absolute mess. Yeah. And we want to find an easy person to blame, but guess what? There's not. It's us. I mean, and this is another philosophical difference. I believe we live in a bottom-up society. I believe that it is our responsibility, everybody's responsibility, to build the society that we want, and that our leaders mimic that. Our leaders take advantage of the patterns that we start organically. And if we do not take those steps, then our leaders take advantage of cynical elements of our society. And we have seen a festival of that over the past, I mean, some would say more than 4 years, but particularly in the last 4 years.
Yeah, I also believe that that's true. And I hope what this all represents is a change in that ground up method where the ground changes so that the leadership is forced to change or they lose. Because there are people out there like Hawley, Cruz, Gates, just to name three.
Colorado's own Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, all those people. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I agree with you. These guys didn't come out of nowhere and go, we've got this really caustic, shitty thing to do. They got there because people backed that and said, oh, he's talking like me. And yeah, that's what I think, because my grandpa said.
I mean, do you know how many politicians try to get the Bartman started and can't? They all try different things. They all go through different phases. They all like try to say like, no, now I'm the green technocrat that does the wave. And I'm the guy who loves restricting abortion but stands on his head. Like, this is the job of a politician, is to come up with different things that they hope resonate with the populace. Like, so whenever we talk about the fact that we are led by our nose by our leaders, it seems ridiculous to me when I watch all of these fat idiots flop trying to do things with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars at their back.
Yeah.
Like, they have every advantage. They have media platforms, and they do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It is only the ones that resonate with what we want, either latently or explicitly, that get power. Not because they are shedding us of it, because we are giving it to them willingly.
Yeah.
And so either we are going to put forth the kind of society that we want to live in, or we're going to continue to be cynical and stab each other, and we will be rewarded with leaders that say, you want to know what? You're right to be cynical. You want to know what? You should stab more people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I hate the problem is how long it takes, and everybody wants overnight solutions, and there are none. So get on the long term, I guess. I don't know what else to tell people. All right. Well, there you have it. That's us in the shadow of the hideous events of last week. Moving forward, who knows what'll happen by the 20th. It's a big day. Hitman 3 comes out, so get excited. Preload now. It's going to be good.
I made this prediction in chat, but I'm going to make it official here. Trump starts his own political party called the Patriot Party and runs.
Oh, I think he'll call it the Trump Party. I think he'll straight up call it the Trump Party.
He'll name it after himself?
Oh, yeah, dude. You know he would love that. He'll have a boner for a month for that. He'd love that.
I would bet against that.
No, you would bet against him starting a political faction, a new party.
Yeah, does he look like a guy who likes to do work?
No, but he'll make other people
do you know how much work it takes to start a political party? Well, and by the way, the people that could do that would want to do that for him, I don't know if they want to work with him now.
Well,
like,
they don't.
I think the damage he did to himself is incalculable.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, ex-president.
But he still has a following.
Oh, he has a following, but it's going to be Sarah.
Do anything.
It's going to be Sarah Palin level following.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're looking at it now. Like, ex-presidents get protected and refurbished and recontextualized. Even Nixon went out as bad as you could possibly go out. And by the time that he died, he was getting the glowing, like, but also he ended Vietnam, right? You want to know who doesn't get that? Failed revolutionaries. And that's where Trump is closer to right now than ex-president. Ex-presidents are protected. You want to know why? Because presidents make a lot of decisions. They make life and death decisions. They make the kind of decisions that if a citizen made them, they would go to jail for life. So ex-presidents don't want to prosecute. So presidents don't want to prosecute ex-presidents because they're afraid that knife will come for them next. And you want to know who really, really, really wants to protect ex-presidents? everybody who's below the president, because those people get thrown over the side in the regular course of business. Can you imagine how often they would be thrown off if the president was really worried about something happening to them? How on the other side, though, there's the failed revolutionary. If you are somebody for whom power is afraid of being disrupted by, then you are put out to pasture very, very, very quickly. And beyond that, Republican voters more than Democratic voters, but I think Democratic voters as well, almost fetishize safety.
Yeah.
And you can read all kind of dark elements into it. You can read all kind of family-friendly elements to that. That safety is the basis of a good, wholesome existence. Safety is the refuge for racism and bigotry and all kinds of phobias, right? But they love safety. Guess what we saw the exact opposite of on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Guess what we saw? But when we're talking about the government being threatened, that is the operating system for which the application economy.exe runs. Like the number one thing that we vote on as Americans is the application economy.exe. If there's a kernel panic to the operating system, the application can't run. Like that's the core element for which was threatened. And that's why you're seeing these opinion polls. And that's why I believe that his influence is incalculably diminished from where it was on Tuesday. Tuesday night, he was just a political dingbat who took too many risks, effed around, and found out that his party lost the Senate. By Wednesday night, he's somebody that I think does face legal culpability and possible legal exposure for up to jail time, but also will never have the same opportunity in terms of a political advantage like he would have if he just would have did what he did on Thursday and said, you want to know what? It's been fun, but the fun is done. I'll be like OJ on the golf course. I'll find the real vote manipulators and we'll see y'all in 2024. He would have been a towering political force, and I don't think that is the same right now.
So I agree with all that. I think that the huge diminishment of power and all that, but he's still got this window, and that's I think why everybody's a little freaked out. He's got 10 days. A lot of damage and hurt can happen in 10 days. And I don't mean that he's going to have political power to do damage and hurt. What I mean is he's got people who are willing to put bombs in places and hide out with guns and do weird shit in the next 10 days. And thereafter, I suppose they're there no matter what. Those are the things I'm worried about. And getting him out early may not be the answer to solving that either. It may make that worse. But I don't know. You got to do what you got to do. Like, if I was Congress, I would just push for this because that's their damn job. Like, do the thing that is right in front of you and get it done, and don't back down from it. But then what else can you do? Like, if some nut job's going to show up with a sniper weapon on the 20th, then he is. And hopefully we have the security in place to stop that guy. But those are the things I'm worried about.
In terms of the inauguration, DC's already going to be locked down, and that was happening – or there was going to be no crowd, more specifically, for the inauguration because of COVID. And that was the decision that was made weeks and weeks and weeks ago before all this.
Right.
DC will now be locked down by the order of Mayor Muriel Bowser, and that they are urging people to not come to the Capitol. This will be locked down. There was already going to be no parade. The FBI announced that they have credible evidence that they're in all 50 states, the state houses might be under attack. That to me feels a little bit like a CYA move by them, because we have heard precious little from the FBI about what they knew and what they didn't know about the thing that happened on Wednesday. And so it seems to me that they are doing their cover your bases. Yes, everywhere is under attack on January 20th. Yeah. We will see what happens in terms of Trump. Look, I don't know how much how much interest I personally have. I know I have very little personal interest in dissecting the motivations of Donald Trump's most hardcore fans. I will say here, for those that love to roast me, that I certainly can say I will take a massive L in that I did not see what happened on Wednesday happening. Like, so you can please gleefully rejoice in saying that I was too much of a Pollyanna to believe that was possible. That being said, the many of the places where Trump fandom ran its most virulent were not pleased with the idea that Trump's, in their view, sold out the people that were his most hardcore fans. By saying that it was a heinous act to run up into the Capitol. So I don't know. I don't know the state of the Trump cult, right? I don't know. There seems to me, by my observation, to be a world in which he might have finally sold the bill of goods to everybody in the circle, and now everybody realizes that he's only, your alliance to him is only as good as the next alliance, right? Like he was aligned with people that wanted to come out and be hardcore for him right up until he had legal exposure for a riot in the Capitol. And then everything was heinous actions.
I just know that there are like 2 or 3 people that heard him say, I will not be attending the inauguration, who didn't hear a petulant president who's about to be out of power and who's still mad and would never concede. What they heard is a guy say, I won't be there, so have your way at things. Like, that's what I worry about, are those people. Those people take that as some weird-ass signal from their Lord and Savior.
I mean, but that at the same time, number one, I don't think that can be discounted, but we're playing a little fan fiction in our head, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the problem. I'm worried about
creating...
It's the definition of terrorism, right? It's the definition of terrorism. That's why that was a terrorist act in my mind last Wednesday.
Well, no. I'm saying what you said right there. Right. The idea that so Donald Trump said, I'm not going to be at the inauguration. By the way, Biden said he was very happy about that. So we have no idea whether or not that's a mutual decision. But the fact that he said that and your thought was, that's a dog, that's a signal for somebody to blow up the inauguration is, I don't think that's...
No, you're right.
That is a sign of where we're at right now.
You're right.
We're all going to invent in our head.
You're right.
What our enemies are doing.
You're totally right, and that's my point about that being a terrorist act. What is the point of terrorism? To terrify people. Right now, I am terrified somebody's going to take that as a signal and blow shit up on that day. So I guess well done, terrorists. You did it, and we shouldn't negotiate with you because that's what we always say. So let's not negotiate with terrorists. Let's get it done in the freaking house. And let's get through this as fast as we can and put that cow out to pasture and let him eat and drink Diet Coke till he dies and be done with that a-hole. That's what I would like.
There we go.
There's my exit ramp. All right. Hey, we did it. Next week will be, how close are we to we're 10 days away, so we'll still have another one of these before all that goes down. And it'll be
before the inauguration, which means, of course, 75 things will happen between now and then.
Yeah, exactly. A lot can happen. That's the weird thing. Is when we last talked to you, it was like, I don't know how this runoff's going to go. We'll know tomorrow, and okay, we'll see you. Have a safe trip. Like that feels like 1,000 years ago because of all the events that have happened.
Dude, I've been floating through a time warp. Since I left, like I had New Year's Day and then I was gone and now I'm dropped back into the middle of January with the world on fire.
Yeah, that was a hell of a thing. But anyway, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're COVID free and look forward to more stuff from you. Anything you want to point people to this week?
No. Thank you guys.
Nothing at all. All right, man. We'll see you later. There he goes. All right. Well, we'll see.
When I retire.
We'll see. Oh, shit. Gosh dang it. Why do I forget?
The jury will now retire.
Why do I forget that every time?
Because it's way funnier if you don't remember than if you do.
Well, it's legitimately me not remembering. So
I know. This is not a bit. You're literally not remembering.
Hey, we got an email for you, Brian, although he spelled your name Bryan.
That's fine. That's fine.
You're okay
you can't
with
get
it?
the spelling from just hearing it, so that makes sense.
Yeah, if you're okay with it, then I'm okay with it. Nick Coffer,
I'll let it go this time.
He wrote it and says, "Hello, people of 2021. Wanted to write in and say hello. Also wanted to thank you for all your content, as has got me looking into new games and hobbies. I briefly talked to y'all on, you know what this is? No, this is still for us. For a minute, I thought maybe he meant Dunaway. I briefly talked to y'all on Playdate about how I started painting minis. I regret to inform you that hobby has now expanded into making terrain as well. I'm loving it so much, and I'm really glad Byron, that's what he wrote there.
I wrote Byron. That's a spelling that's definitely not right.
That's definitely not right. Brought it up. I'm also working to get some people together to run my first D&D adventure, and first time to DM using pieces I've made for my new hobby. Anyways, thanks y'all so much again, and I will be sending Brian my bill that he has created.
Send it to BRYAN. Yes.
Yeah, send it to Byron. Byron Ibot.
Byron Ibot.
P.O. Box.
That's cool. And I still haven't. I need to photograph my the Iron Man and Spider-Man. I finished Spider-Man too, so I've got Spider-Man and Iron Man. There was so much stress because Spider-Man is my favorite character.
Yeah. You felt like a special. I don't know. You had to do it right. That's what you were saying.
I had to do it right. It's like that was the most stressful mini I've ever painted because I just didn't feel like I could F it up.
Did you use that new chrome paint or whatever it was, the silver paint for your Iron Man stuff, or
metallic non-metallic paints?
Yeah.
No. For Iron Man, I did a full layer of silver, and then I used a semi-transparent cherry red model car paint, which is like what you use to kind of get that really cool cherry red vet kind of look to it, where it's got a different level. It came out great. Like that's one that I'm super, super proud of.
Well, I'm excited to see them. Maybe on camera soon. Brian will have them on camera. We'll show them off.
I will bring them to have them on camera. Although really just good photography would probably make them look better than me holding them up to a little Brio kind of thing.
Yeah, that's all good. All right. Hey, big thanks for that email. Send your emails to themorningstream@gmail.com. That's themorningstream@gmail.com. You can also find us on frogpants.com/TMS. And if you're in the mood to help us out, we're over at Patreon at patreon.com/TMS. Many great rewards can be found therein. Today I submit new artwork for the printer to get ready to send to some of you at certain levels. And there's more like that over there. So go check it out. That's patreon.com/TMS. If you sign up today, you'll get bonus content today from the show. Like on that RSS feed, we put pre and post show stuff that you don't get any other way. So do that. Be there. Patreon.com/TMS. All right, Brian, we should go. We went a little long today. That's okay.
It's Tuesday. It's jury day.
It's jury day.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, jury duty always takes a while, literally, and in our show. But we'll play a song, get out of here, and be back tomorrow with more great content. So come back and join us then. Brian, what do we have at the end of it?
We have a request from Luke. Goes by a whatnot in chat. Says, hello, Swiss and Bergenost. For the umpteenth time, I'm requesting a Queen cover song for my birthday. I'm turning the big 4-0 this year. Oh, joy. Sarcasm.
Whoa.
Maybe I can get a certain tender crisp sandwich.
Oh.
I leave it up to the cover master. You can hunt that down while I do this.
Yeah.
Leave it up to the cover master to choose his favorite cover of a Queen song. A big thank you both for all you do for us and for the Tadpool, the greatest community in the world.
Oh.
Hear, hear.
Very nice.
Thanks for the show, though, Luke, a whatnot in chat.
Here it is.
The tender crisp bacon cheddar ranch.
There you go, bud.
Feels like we haven't heard that one in a while, so I'm glad he requested that.
Yeah.
He wanted to hear my favorite cover of a Queen song. That's tough to do because I've played most of them on the show before, and I always like trying to pull out something new that you guys haven't heard before, and I'm sure pull out something new will end up in a mashup somewhere. But this is one of my favorite Queen songs, getting covered by Rob Tenico for the Horse Feathers and Animal Crackers. So may not be my favorite cover. I just saw a whatnot in chat saying thanks, Coverville and Frog Pants. Happy birthday, man. Happy 40th. May not be my favorite cover of a Queen song, but it's one of my favorite Queen songs getting covered, and that's got to do it right there. Sail Away, Sweet Sister, again recorded for the Horse Feathers and Animal Crackers tribute from 2010. Here is Rob Tenico.
See you guys tomorrow.
Hey, this rocks.
Shit,
Hey.
I played wrong. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Hey, this rocks. Hey.
Hey.